had this vision of it was these soldiers that had on green and they had like red in their hat and they were going to war. I said, but they were going to war. It seemed like they were going to war against each other. I said, I don't understand that. I said, but yeah, that's why I had the dream. It was like several months later, I believe, the Ukraine and Russia war. My name is Jay. Leonard Martin is my Leonard J. Martin is my full name. I reside in Columbus, Ohio, originally from the south side of Chicago. I'm here to tell my story about my journey, and hope you all take it in. When I first moved here, I was diagnosed with lupus. I lost some family members as time went on. I ended up in 2012, I want to say, getting diagnosed with pulmonary embolism. A pulmonary embolism is a blood clot in your lung. So I had one blood clot in my lung, and towards the end of 2016, towards the middle of 2016, I developed 2 more pulmonary embolisms or blood clots in my lungs. I have lupus, asthma, severe depression, anxiety, quite a bit of things. So when I was diagnosed, my doctor at the time told me to take some medication because if I didn't take it, it could be fatal for me. I didn't think anything of it at the time. So I just kept doing what I was doing. Then one day, I worked for Coca-Cola for nearly 20 years, and this time, for about 8 years of that time, the last 8 years, I was a technician. And I came home one evening, it was August 17th, 2016. Came home one evening, walked in the house, was having a funny feeling in my chest. Didn't really take it seriously because it didn't hurt, no pain or anything. So I just went on about my evening, and it was I want to say everything happened within a period of like maybe 20 minutes or so, like that. Started getting ready to turn in, get ready for bed, call my my best friend in Chicago and my mom in the kitchen when I called them, and the next thing you know, I woke up in a hospital about a week later. I didn't know what happened. I didn't know how I got there, but I had tubes and everything hooked up to me. When it happened, my mom, they said drove myself to the hospital, parked my car. As soon as I parked my car, walked into the emergency room doors, and I immediately collapsed once cardiac arrest. I coded. Code blue was called. I coded. They came and resuscitated me. I coded again. They resuscitated me again, put a stent in my heart, and then they flew me to the nearest other hospital called Riverside. While I was there, they was working on me. They called my parents. They was in Chicago, and my children lived here. My children met her, so she at the hospital told her that she's sorry that I have been gone all day, that I'm already gone. She responded as you would think she would, She went into the room, and where they saw me bloated, my body had started to swell. Excuse me. My organs had already shut down because I was already deceased for most of the day at the time. They had me on, I believe it was life support, but my heart had stopped beating, my organs was gone. So they was basically waiting on my parents so they can give the go, so they can go ahead and just cut everything off and sign the papers and stuff. So my daughter, she was 18, they said, since she was the next of kin, she had to make the decision to sign, so they can sign the papers and everything. And she said, no, I'm still in there. She said, he's still in there. No, he's still in there. The doctor said, and my mom said, no, he's not. He's been gone all day. He's gone. And she was like, no, he's not. He's not. And she looked up at my mom and hugged my mom and was crying and said, I don't want to, Grandma. I don't want to do this. I don't want to take him off. And she said, it's your choice. An ironic part was that I didn't know that I was deceased. I didn't know that I died. I thought that maybe I was just sleeping. I was not aware that what had happened. I remember going through this amber tunnel, and the tunnel was like it was completely surrounding me, around, and it was amber. But some did think this way it wasn't hell. Okay, amber doesn't mean it was hell, but it was amber, and there were hands reaching up around me, for reaching up, but I didn't look at them as like they were doing it maliciously. I wasn't afraid or anything. And I got to the end of the tunnel, and I found myself floating down the highway. And it's so ironic that the hospital, the room that I was at, was right there by the highway. So I was floating down the highway. It was dark, like gloomy. And then I found myself by a landmark here in Columbus, and it's in a brewery district, it's like a fountain, something. I saw that fountain, and then it was like immediately I just automatically in space. While I was in space, I was still aware that I existed. My consciousness still knew that I was still existing. Um, no fear. I knew I didn't have a body. I had no form because I was part of everything. I was part of the universe. I was just part of everything. I was there witnessing, observing everything. So as I looked down, I would say towards my footstool, as I looked down in front of me, but way down, it was like a planet. And it was an Earth-like planet. I don't know if it was Earth. I don't know if it was another planet, but it was a planet. And it was like energy coming from the top of the planet into the form of a tree. It was going up like a tree, and the energy was like circulating in and out of the planet, in and out of the planet. I saw that, and then I looked to my left, and I saw what looked like a swirl of stars or like a wormhole. I saw it, and I wasn't really sure what it was, but a few years later, I was surfing the internet, just looking on the internet, surfing, and I saw what it was. I'm like, that's what I saw. And come to find out, it was the Andromeda Galaxy. I saw it, and I looked at that planet again, and I looked back at that, and then I heard my name being called. I didn't know where it came from. But I heard my name being called. Looked at the planet again. Looked at the wormhole or the galaxy, and next thing you know, I just found myself. I don't know what the time frame was in between, but when I did open my eyes, finally, I looked to my left, and it was the doctor, and it was my mom and some of the family, and they was like, Jay, it was like, do you know where you are? I couldn't say anything because I still hooked up the tubes and trach was in and everything. And they say, you're in the hospital. They say you had a heart attack. You died. You left us for an entire day. But we got you back. You're back. And of course, I still didn't think anything of it, And around my mom and my parents, it was like a glow, like an aura, like this kind of glow around them. And I recognized that glow to be love. And I knew that because of where I was, because when you're part of everything, you're literally part of everything in existence. You're part of our Creator. You're part of what some say the Ruach or the Holy Spirit. You're part of love, because love is also an entity. It resides in all places at all times, in anyone that it chooses to reside in. So that's how I knew that was love that I saw around my family, because I was familiar with it with that. But the odd thing was that when I woke up, it appeared and it seemed like this was the dream. And where I was the reality because I was so familiar. It felt like I was so familiar. And that's where I belong. It felt like I was that's where I originally came from, so familiar. Well, this place when I woke up felt like the dream, you know. And it was just, I want to say it was a pretty traumatic experience for the family because I want to say, and for me, because I got to see what it was like and to see how my family reacted, family and friends reacted if I passed away, which I did. So to witness that and to see how they responded to it was very heartening, you know, to see and to hear. But overall, I was at peace. You know, I was peaceful. I wasn't having any worries, no concerns, no doubts. I was just there, you know. I was just there until they turned on the television, and it was around election time, which is so ironic. The 80th anniversary is coming up next month. But when they turned on television, it was like so much hate, divisiveness, anger. It was just a lot of craziness, and I felt that sadness just by watching it, you know. So it only lasted briefly because they turned it off eventually. I had to undergo countless therapies, physical therapy, what they call it, physical therapy, occupational therapy. I had to relearn how to walk. I had to relearn how to write, how to talk again. And that went on for some years until, you know, and one day, not just one day, but afterwards, getting to sleep, it didn't even really matter to me because it's as if I had literally been reborn, and it's as if I was walking with one foot in the spiritual world and one foot in the physical world. So I was really more attached to the spiritual world because I just came from there, and I knew what it was like to be there. So when I came back, I developed insomnia for, this happened almost 8 years ago. In August, I developed insomnia up into 2000, I want to say 21, 22. I couldn't sleep. Those entire years, I just couldn't sleep. You know, it was very hard for me to sleep because where I was, my spirit that had more control over this body, it didn't need sleep where it was, you know. So my spirit was used to being in its natural element, so it didn't need sleep. But this body needed sleep, and it felt it. You know, the body would say, "We need sleep." You know, the spirit, but I don't need it. The body like, "But you're on our side, so we need sleep." You know, but I just couldn't sleep. And I finally started getting to sleep. I would wake right back up because I didn't know if I was deceased again, if I went to sleep. Because last time I thought I was asleep, but I was deceased. So I was afraid that if I was closed my eyes, that I didn't know if I was deceased again. You know, so it was pretty traumatic experience. During that time, I again had to start completely over. I lost my job at Coca-Cola after nearly 20 years working there. Lost my home, my source of income, and yeah, just literally had to start completely over, and it's been a challenge since, you know. It has been a big challenge for me, you know, and that's not to include the damage that was done to the physical body. You know, a lot of people would say, "Well, you look so good, you don't like when anything ever happened to you." I was like, "Well, look, so you see me." You know, again, I got a traumatic brain injury. I have dead spots all over my brain. I have neurological damage, nerve damage to the left side of my body from my knee all the way down. Can't move my foot. I have vertigo every day. It's chronic. no medication or anything can make it go away. So I live with it every day. Every day is dizzy. Some days are better than others. Going on with my life, trying to go on with my life. And again, I was sick every day, which I still am. I'm sick every day. And so I just chopped it up to just like, okay, I'm just sick. Didn't think of that and sick. But I started to notice that sometimes when I got sick, I would get severely sick but this time it was accompanied with emotions like sadness or or anguish or something like that. But then when it would happen, all of a sudden, it was like for a few days, and then the next day is back to my regular, my regular self, my regular illness, and then after that, then it's all of a sudden something will happen in the world, an event, and it's like, I didn't think anything of it. But then it happened again when I would get really, really sick and really emotional when all these feelings and things. And then after I feel better, something else would happen. So I'm like, okay, this is not a coincidence, So the next time it happened, about a day or so later, there was like a train derailment in Washington, in the state of Washington, here in the U.S. And I was like, wow, that is so ironic that I had this feeling and everything that something was happening, but something was wrong in the train derailment. And I was like, okay, what is this? All right, okay. Just don't even pay attention to it. Just keep using your strength to keep going because you're always sick. But then it will happen again. And then next thing you know, there was the mass shooting in Las Vegas. And I was like, okay, this is not a coincidence. I said, when I get these feelings and I start feeling like this shortly after something happens. And then it would just happen again. And I think it was, one of them was, I posted on my social media on Facebook. And I said, something is about to happen. I said, I can't pinpoint what it is. I said, but something is about to happen. And it's going to affect everyone. And next thing you know, the next day, the George Floyd incident happened. You guys familiar with the George Floyd incident, right? Yeah, so his thing happened. So I was like, wow. And then I talked to our creator. I prayed to him and I said, I don't know what this is, but I am really exhausted and tired because I'm sick and tired every day just because of my health. And then when I had these feelings when something is about to happen, I'm extra tired and sick. And I was like, it's too much for me to handle, And I would ask him, I said, please take it away. Not right now. I'm just still trying to get a hang of this. And they stopped. It stopped for a while. So when I started to think, okay, I can get a handle on this, I said, okay, I prayed to him again and said, okay, I'm ready again to resume this. I will ask why I have these things later, but for now, I'm ready to resume. So one day, I was meditating, and I usually go meditate in my stepson's closet. I know it sounds funny, but I go in his closet because it's really dark and it's quiet, and I get my best meditation and silence when it's dark and quiet. So I was meditating. Then I had this vision, and it was just these pop-up visions in my meditation. So after I finished, I got up and I told my wife, I said, I just had this vision in my meditation. I said, I had this vision of, it was these soldiers. They had on green and they had like red in their hat, and they were going to war. I said, but they were going to war. It seemed like they were going to war against each other. I said, I don't understand that. I said, but yeah, that's what I had the dream of. It was like several months later, I believe, the Ukraine and Russia war. And I was like, wow. And I said, and it makes sense because Ukraine at one point in time was part of Russia. And that's why it looked like they were fighting each other in my vision. which technically that's what it was happening, you know. Um, and then it would still come up every now and then. And sometimes when they would come up, I would just almost ignore them because, again, some of my times where I'm not feeling well, sometimes they can be really extreme. So sometimes I just don't pay it any attention. Up until, I want to say last year, I had another one, and I posted it on my Facebook page. I don't know if I gave you that picture or not, but I was in one of my meditation states again, and in my place where I was, and I had this vision of, it was like different things. It was like one of them was a color, one of them was, two of them was three different numbers, different numbers. I think one of them was 106 or something like that, or 610. And then I was a vision of a pileup, like an automobile pileup. So I had that vision that night. The next morning, or that late that afternoon, found out in the news that there was a pileup here in Ohio on Expressway, and it was on mile marker 106, which was close to what my vision was of 610. So, yeah, I still have them every now and then. I try to, like I said, I try to balance it, but sometimes it's a bit much sometimes, and I still don't know why I have them. Sometimes I would ask, why do I have this? Am I supposed to have these visions to warn people of things? Do I suppose to have them to help people? What is it? I have yet got that answer, but nevertheless, I'm sure it'll come to me eventually. At one point in time, I still consider myself this, but it's neither here nor there. A Hebrew Israelite. And Hebrew is just a race, Israelite is the nation. But then as I got older, you're supposed to come with more wisdom as you get older. And I started to learn that these titles and religion and things in that nature, they do more separating than they do unifying people. So I don't align with any religion. I don't align with calling myself anything but a man or a portion of our Creator. A blessed man. A man of God. Religion is not one of those things that I care to dabble in, because, like I said, it takes people apart as opposed to more to keeping them together. And the Creator that created all these things and the men who created those religions is about love. It's about so much more than what people write in these books and what people claim to believe or feel. So, no, I don't follow religion. And I went in at August 18th, 2016. I was in until like October. Then I went back to Chicago because my brother was having like a fundraiser for me, and a Q&A, so I can answer people's questions. And one of the questions they asked me was, what you asked? And they said, did you get a message to, talk to anyone, deliver a message? And I was saying, yeah, to love. Tell people what it's like to love. Show people what it's like to love and what love really is. And it wasn't said to me with your mouth. It wasn't said to me with sign language, because all these things are part of the physical world. And where I was, like I said, part of everything. So whatever was spoken to me, it was without words. I knew what I had to say because I was part of our Creator. So when our Creator spoke, I was there. So that message was about love, to tell people the importance of love. And love is not an emotion. It's not a feeling. Love is an actual entity. And when you let love into your life, sometimes it can be experienced by others as an emotion, or experienced by others as a feeling. But love is an actual entity, and everyone can learn to do it. That may learn to accept and love in your life. And you don't. Some people ask me that too. It's like they say, "Do you love certain people?" And I say, "Yes, I love everyone." And they say, "What about people that you don't know?" I say, "Yeah, I love them too." You know, because we come from the same place, the same creator. And coming from the same place and the same creator, we are part and one and the same. So why would I not love myself? Why would I not love you? Because you come from the same place, and in essence, we are one, until we get in these bodies and show these different characteristics. But overall, we're one. So the message of love and telling people to experience it and share one of the things that people experience this fine line of. Some people experience and confuse love with things like lust. They may lust for someone, but they think it's love, but it's actually lust. They think it's love, but sometimes they may be possessive, and they may mistake possessiveness as love, and it's not. Not wanting to be alone, just wanting some company. They think that they mistake all those things for love when they are actually what they are: loneliness, fear, possessiveness, lust, amongst other things. And when you love someone, you're not driven to being with them because of those other things. You're driven to being with them because you want to grow with them. If they're a part of you, you will want yourself to grow. You will want the best for yourself. You will want them to evolve and get better and stay safe and, take care of themselves. These are some of the attributes of love. And when you relate this to other people, you let them know you love them. You can't tell somebody you love them, but at the same time you saying that you hate them. If they did something. You can't tell somebody you love them, but you can't tell somebody you love them, but somebody that you met across the street, they did something to you. You're like, "Oh, I hate you. I really hate you. I don't love you." Well, you don't know what love is then. Because you're loving them. You're not loving their actions. You're loving who they are, that spirit. It's you, even though that spirit, you may say that spirit is an evil spirit for wanting to fight you. No, those are actions of man, but the spirit that's driving that body, that was put in there before they started doing all these things when they were born, that's the spirit that's still in there. And that's the spirit that was at once part of you. So you love that. You love them. You don't have to love or approve of somebody's actions, but you can still love them. I love you enough to walk away from you. Or I love myself. I love you and I love myself more to know that I wouldn't put myself in harm's way by putting myself around you. Doesn't mean I love you any less. I still love you, but it doesn't mean that I have to love have to be acceptable of your actions, So these are some of the things that I was told and inspired to share with people, the significance of unconditional, unadulterated, unapologetic love. To love yourself so much, love yourself to the extent to where you will not harm yourself. You will not put yourself in compromising situations. You will not feed and put certain things in your body that would intentionally kill your body. You will not treat people ill because they may look at you funny. These are some of the things that I want people to know, if to do these things. And to prepare. Keep loving yourself, and regardless of all these things that's going on in politics and something that's going on in your personal life, love yourself to enough to where you work on your mental health and your spirit, because there's more that's coming that other than what you've experienced now. A lot more that's coming to this world. And if you are not there mentally, if you are not there spiritually, you will crack and you will perish. So you need to keep yourself and focus more on your mental health and focus more on loving yourself. So when these things do come, you'll be better equipped to handle them when they come. And they will come. It's not going to always be peaches and roses and things like that and good times and travel and stuff like that. It's going to be some hard times coming. And if you're not together, when they come, you're going to get left behind and you won't make it.